Yes, I thought coming past the 600 metres it was going to be right in it, but hadn't had a run since early February, so I guess it just told it. And also I noticed, Clem, the track is pretty sloppy over around the back of the course between, say, the 700 metres and the 500 metres. They really seem to be getting into it there.
There it is. Correct weight, correct weight. You notice they're throwing up plenty of clods of dirt coming to the turn too.
That's right, yes.
Well, there it is, correct weight. Weight is correct. The next event is the Warrnambool Woolen Mill Grand Annual Steeplechase, the feature on today's program. So in the meantime, after the running of race 4, we'll take you back to the boys in the mounting yard.
Right, race 4, and we'll be back with race 5, the big one, the Warrnambool Grand Annual Steeple, after this break.
You're watching a direct coverage of racing from Warrnambool through Channel 10 Melbourne, Channel 6 Ballarat and associated stations across Victoria.
Thanks to Instant TV Rentals, you can enjoy top movies any time of the week too, not to mention replays of your favourite programmes. It's ITR's video recorder and movie package deal. A famous name video recorder like this, plus 12 months unlimited use of ITR's video movie library. That's right, top movies for all the family for 12 months. Ring 873-3066 now for a free home demonstration. Instant TV Rentals, the home video, hi-fi and colour TV rental specialists.
There's gonna be a showdown today. There's gonna be some kind of a fight. And when the battle's won, I'm gonna have me some fun and drink me some cold Carlton Light. Light's got the flavor that satisfies me. Light's got the taste that's just right. So if you're in the dark about which one to choose, why don't you turn on the light? That beautiful cold Carlton light. Just walk up to the man and say, I'll have a can of that beautiful cold Carlton light. That beautiful cold Carlton light.
How's this for a fantastic hideaway? Worth driving 300 kilometres for. Worth looking after with Dulux too. New tough Dulux timber colour has a natural timber look, and it's got that real acrylic toughness. Timber colour goes over painted or unpainted surfaces, and it's so tough you can trample all over it. Timber colour keeps timber looking like timber, even under this sort of treatment. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
Well, it's race number 5, the Warrnambool Grand Annual Steeplechase, coming up very soon on Channel 6 and Channel 10, and the crowd here enjoying today's atmosphere. Phil, you've been down to the Warrnambool Grand Annual before?
Yes, we've been down quite often. I think we've telecast the Grand Annual, Craig, on about 5 occasions. This is going back to the times when we did cover midweek racing. But right in a few moments, we'll have the presentation taking place for the Black and White Scotch Whisky Intermediate Cup. That was the last event on the program, and we'll be taking you over to the chairman of the Warrnambool Racing Club in Mr. Russell Balch. We have the trophies down here in the mounting yard at the present time. So now let's take you over to the chairman of the club, Mr. Russell Balch.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the wonderful support you've given us again today, whether you're punters, owners, trainers, jockeys, or last but not least, our sponsors. I'd also like to thank ATV 10 and BTV 6 for letting so many more of you in on the action. I'm certain there are many, many thousands of you. I'd now like to introduce Mr. Rob Hepworth, the Victorian Director of John Causey and Company, who've sponsored this race and given the trophy. I wouldn't like to estimate how much Black and White have put into racing in Victoria in the last few years, but perhaps Rob might be able to tell you. Mr. Rob Hepworth.
Mr. President, members of the Warrnambool Racing Club Committee, ladies and gentlemen, how pleased we are again to be associated with this wonderful May Carnival here at Warrnambool. We offer some very sincere congratulations to the Warrnambool Committee for the efforts that they've turned on. I think we have another record crowd today with marvellous racing, 9 races on 3 days. It's almost too much to be able to drink enough black and white Scotch whisky. However, without any further ado, our congratulations must go to Bold Châtain, who has already received his trophy parading behind us. Our congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Blackney, the owners of Bold Châtain, to Gary Hanlon, who has obviously turned this horse out in magnificent condition, and how well it was ridden by Robert Heffernan. We have in Victoria some 29 black and white Scotch whisky cups spread throughout the country areas, and the support we receive from the town and the publicans and the licensed trade in towns such as Warrnambool enable us to keep on sponsoring in the manner that we do. And we thank you, the public, for the support of our product also. Mr. and Mrs. Blackney, it's my great pleasure to present to you the black and white trophy for this race.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank Black and White Whisky, also the Warrnambool committee for putting on this race to suit our beautiful Bold Châtain. I'd like to thank Gary, our lovely trainer, and also our beautiful jockey, and congratulations to my husband. He just loves this horse. Thank you very much.
Gary Hanlon, congratulations once again on turning out Bold Châtain in such fine condition today.
Right, well, there we had the presentations for the 4th event on the program, the Black and White Scotch Whisky Intermediate Cup. In a moment, we'll be talking with Robert Heffernan and also Neil Williams, who rode in several races here. I think 22 Warrnambool Cups altogether, and Warrnambool Grand Annual, really. And he is now a trainee steward, but we'll be talking with him in a few moments. There is a presentation going on to Robert Heffernan at the moment, and then he'll be over talking with Ron Taylor. Denise Drysdale will be here with some very interesting people from Warrnambool to have a talk with us in a few moments as well. But now, Ron Taylor, what do you think of the ride there?
I thought it was an excellent ride by Robert. He is one of the better of the younger Victorian jockeys. He rides for a very strong stable in the Hanlon stable, both George and Gary. And he's been given a presentation, of course, of a flagon of black and white Scotch whisky. Phil, I've never seen Scotch whisky in such a large container.
Peter Lovett has. He hasn't seen one full, though. It's always been empty. Anyway, I'll let you talk with Ron there, Robert.
I'll mind this for you, Robert. It's probably as close as I'll get to this quantity of black and white Scotch. But in the run of the race, you always appear to be travelling well behind the leaders.
Yes, he travelled real well behind the leaders, Ron, and it was just top of the straight coming to his outside, and he won well at the finish of the race.
Robert, this horse is a very big, strong colt by a good sire in Bowl Flip out of a good mare in Eld. Will he be good enough to race in Melbourne?
I think that may have been a fair field he beat today, but he's run a fair race. He's started once in town before and ran 5th, I think, behind Western Bay last time in. Hoping he's better this time, he should.
Thank you, Robert, and congratulations on a fine ride.
Thank you.
Good, and Neil Williams coming in now to talk with Peter Lovett, and I'm sure you'll be interested in what Neil has to say about the Grand Annual.
I'm interested also, Neil or John? It's J.N. Williams. It used to be in the book. What is it, John or Neil?
John Neil Williams.
Yeah. And yet you prefer to be called Neil?
Well, in the racing game it is Neil, because when I started off there were that many Johns about, so it just naturally called me by my second name.
Well, Neil, you've ridden in 22 Grand Annuals, and you're still on your feet too, and you look remarkably well.
Oh, well, I can still get around, yes.
What's so fabulous about this territory to ride over? What, 5,500 metres, 33 jumps?
Yes, and the road doubles and uphill, down dale. It's really a test of everything. Horse, rider, and even training the horses to get them to go that journey and jump those fences.
22 rides. How did you come out of it statistically?
I had 1 win, 3 seconds and 3 thirds.
You'd probably be happy that you won the one. What was that on?
Old Solite.
Oh, yes, Kevin Lafferty's.
Yes, and I also ran 2 seconds on Solite as well.
Can I ask you, what was the most dashing performance you've ever seen here? I've got something in mind.
Well...
And it was trained at Hamilton too.
Yes, these days it's the grey horse and the one the Briley, and I think there was none better ever seen than Buxton.
Aha, yes. The yes, the maroon and gold
yes.
of
the same ownership.
Yep.
Yes.
And he was a brilliant jumper, wasn't he? He ran them off their legs that
Yes,
day. Who was the hardest jockey you ever rode against?
Ron Hall Senior.
Not Teddy Byrne, and yet he knew this territory.
Yeah, Ron Hall Senior was the best I've ever seen.
Well, I wish you very well in your new profession, trainee steward. Now, don't be too hard on your colleagues.
I will not be.
Thanks very much, Neil.
Good, thank you.
Right, Neil, and thank you, Peter. Denise Drysdale, I think she's just been down in Bass Strait. What's happened here, Denise?
Found a whole gang of people. David Clark has come up from the
The
Flagstaff Hill Maritime Museum or Village, do you call it? From the village.
Yes.
And he's got all these people. He was going to introduce them and just tell us what they do down there.
Fine.
David, what do all these people, this man here
Yes,
does?
the big man in the corner, Peter Greenwood. He's a display assistant at Flagstaff Hill. He represents...
display?
Oh, quite a few things, but he mainly represents the old Warrnambool militia that used to defend our coast from the terrible...
That type of person defended us?
Yes, that's right.
Now
Yes.
we know why. And this lady
Behind us is Lynn Eales. She is a receptionist at Flagstaff Hill.
Right, shows everybody where to go.
That's right. And
Right.
behind me is Michelle. She also helps the visitors around the site and make sure that they see everything.
So you have some guides that
yes.
help.
Yes, we behind me here is Shelley and Peter Ronald. Peter is our display director. He puts everything on display and makes sure that people see them to the best of their ability. So
How much land do you have down there?
about 7 acres of land, and we're trying to represent what the port of Warrnambool used to be back in the 1850s, between 1850 and 1900. We're rebuilding 2 sailing ships to their original condition, and we also have buildings of the various trades and crafts that were allied to that period of time.
Now, when you say crafts, what sort of crafts? Things that you've made yourself that are on sale?
Yeah, well, not at the present time, but people can see the shipwright at work constructing or reconstructing the ships that we've got down there.
Right,
and
you were saying you've been there 3.5 years.
That's right. Yeah, we've been operating for about 3.5 years now.
And that you need more money,
Oh,
which
we always need
in
more
turn really means more people visiting and...
That's right, yes. We've probably had about 200,000 people through in the last 3.5 years, but we want to show what Australia's heritage was like back in the old days.
I think that's very important. That
It is
it's
too.
about time that we get behind what Australia used to be and make it what it was then.
That's right,
The
yes.
fighting that we
That's
had.
right, yeah.
Philip's going like this, so
Yeah.
I guess he must want to... He's got something else to tell us. Have you, Phil?
Yes.
Cramps, it is.
I was just about to tell you that the horses are in the mounting yard.
Are they? Now, this is a steeplechase. This is
the
a big one, isn't it?
So I think you better get up there and have a good look at it.
All right,
Prior
then.
to, getting up there.
Okay, thank you, David,
Denise.
everybody.
Thanks, David. Thank you, everyone. And there it is. And, well, the stands are packing up there, Craig. And this is the peak of our audience for today, I'd say.
Yep. Well, the big one coming up next, the Warrnambool Grand Annual Steeplechase, and we'll be back after this break.
You're watching a direct coverage of racing from Warrnambool through Channel 10 Melbourne, Channel 6 Ballarat and associated stations across Victoria.
Mondays at 7:30, say hello to those fuel-injected folks of Hazzard County. There's Sheriff Roscoe, forever fighting grime on the streets. His fearless deputy, Enos Strait, the only man with a retread for a brain. Cousin Daisy, she'll melt your heart or your hubcaps. Boss Hog, as crooked as a pig's tail.
Don't give a hang about fair play.
And of course, the Duke boys themselves. Head-on hysterics with the Dukes of Hazzard. Monday at 7:30 on 10.
You look like a little fat hood ornament.
To get the most out of your punting investment week by week, Ringwood Tertiary Academy has prepared for you a 6-volume series of punting reference books. Not only does each volume show what combinations have won, but also what combinations have lost. Over 1,300 pages packed with statistical information as researched over the past 3 years. Books are available in a full series of 6 or separately at a special price. Ring now for a free brochure. 870-0444.
Well, Phil, Thackeray did a good job last year in the Grand Annual Steeple. What do you think?
Well, we have the boys here to tell us all about it. Craig and Ron Taylor and also Des Spain. Well, what is the betting like on Thackeray?
Well, Thackeray is all but favourite. It's almost equal with Lord Rocky Red. They're the two that the people want. The locals have certainly stuck with Thackeray, and the city slickers are probably staying with Lord Rocky Red. But there's not much between them, but to split straws, Lord Rocky Red is the favourite.
Well, let's take them now in racebook order as they parade in the mounting yard here for the Warrnambool Woolen Mills Grand Annual Steeplechase. Number 1, Lord Rocky Red.
Well, he's carrying a couple of bandages, Phil. Lord Rocky Red to be ridden by Art Chalice. This horse is the logical favourite for the race. He won the big Great Eastern Steeplechase at Oakbank over a gruelling course. He came out with a magnificent staying performance to win at Sandown, and he does look a picture here again today.
Russell is a scratching. However, Russell will lead all horses out onto the track. But number 3, Thackeray.
Only had 2 wins over the 23 starts throughout its career. One was here last year and also in the Sir Reginald Lancet Steeple at Hamilton. Thackeray's certainly going to be hard to beat. Finishes like a train when he gets wound up, Phil.
And this one, of course, to be ridden by D. Londigan. Kevin Wynne to ride number 4, Tornates Lad.
Yes, this is in great form. A winner at Flemington over the big fences, beating Tarka and Hydro Royal at its last start. I think it'll handle the Warrnambool jumps very well, and you can expect Tornates Lad to be in the forefront all the way.
Number 5 is Cole Gotti. The rider is C. Thorne.
Yes, Cole Gotti, always a chance in the long race, in my opinion. He comes along, he gets out of his ground early, but runs on fairly at the finish.
Number 6, Scenic Storm.
Well, it's hard to have Scenic Storm. It only finished 7th in the Oakbank Great Eastern, was a long way back. I think it's a bit rich to expect it to win here.
Neville Rantel, the rider. Number 7 is Dane's Mission, and the rider is B. Wall.
Yes, well, it lost its rider in the Oakbank Great Eastern and then ran in a hurdle race at Victoria Park after that. Had a run in the steeple here to Russell the other day, but only finished 4th out of 10. But I think the journey might be its only hope. It was a fair way back behind Russell.
And number 8 is Marquita's Pal.
Right, there's the applause, of course, for Russell, 3 times winner of the Brierley Steeplechase, about to lead this great Grand Annual Steeplechase field out onto the course. Now, as the applause dies away, we look back to number 8, Marquita's Pal, who was a long shot in the race and on form, and it's very hard to see him running at all well. Although the interesting part, Phil, is going to be ridden by an amateur rider, Mr. B. Waters. It'll be interesting to see how the amateur jockey handles this very tricky and complicated Warrnambool course.
Number 9 is Peak again, a scratching. Number 10 is Tudor Supreme.
Tudor Supreme will be easily seen because he's in the all blue. Hasn't won a race as yet, and it's a bit rich to expect him to win this. His last start, he was only 5th in the Sir Reginald Lancet Steeple at Hamilton.
Right, it won't be long before the horses now move out onto the track for the running of the big one and to be led by the grey in Russell. And now we take you over once again to Graham Kelly.
Good, Bill, sorry. We've got here Bill McKinnon and one of the local identities. Bill, I believe you've seen every Grand Annual since 1923, is that right?
I missed 1951. I was in the hospital in Melbourne.
Oh, that's bad luck.
The only one I missed, really.
We were just talking before. You saw Des Spain's father ride here in 1923.
I saw Burke Spain ride a horse called Rulu into 3rd place behind Doreen and Gwydion. One of the best rides ever seen over Warrnambool.
Oh, that's very good. Des's father.
Des's father. He had previously won in won the Brierley 2 days before on Cotswold, and he also won the Grand Annual on Cotswold in 1921.
Obviously, all those Grand Annuals you've seen, there have been some dramatic moments. What sticks out in your mind?
1934. I'll never forget 1934, when horses were spread-eagled all over the place, and at one stage, there were 2 stages, there were no horses standing.
Goodness.
The winner, Flavito, balked, then he fell. And one of the chaps that are here today, Norman McLean, got the bridle and put it back on him and found out that he'd put it on back to front.
Oh, goodness, I hope nothing like that happens today, Bill.
Ron Sweetenham remounted in dazed condition, and was able to win it.
Right.
Alex Fullerton was sitting on the fence here. He's got to fall off Lanilda. When he saw how things were going, he remounted and won second.
Good. Well, Bill, we've got one of the great jumping jockeys here, Kelvin Burke. You'd remember him?
Yes, I remember Kelvin's great riding.
We just thought we'd have a very quick word with Kelvin because he's ridden this course plenty of times.
Yes, Kelvin, a couple of wins.
Yeah, Olympic choice and so-and-so.
What about you? Retired now? Do you feel a little bit sad today not having a ride in the great race? You used to sit on the fence and watch him go when you were a bit of a kid.
Yeah, I don't know. I slept pretty well last night, anyhow. I had no worries last night.
All right, that's good.
Lord Ruck will be back tomorrow, I think.
Thanks, Kelvin.
Good on you, Kelvin. We'll see you later. How about that, Craig?
Well, we'll be back after this break.
You're watching a direct coverage of racing from Warrnambool through Channel 10 Melbourne, Channel 6 Ballarat and associated stations across Victoria.
Μερικοί πιστεύουν ότι να περπατά κανείς είναι εύκολο, όμως μπορεί να είναι επικίνδυνο. Όταν όμως είσαι για να διασταυρώσεις το δρόμο, τότε πρόσεχε. Ποτέ μη ξεπετάγεστε ανάμεσα από παρκαρισμένα αυτοκίνητα. Πάντα να ακολουθείτε τα φώτα. Να θυμάστε, όταν είσαι στην άκρη του πεζοδρομίου, πρόσεχε. Για να μην τραυματιστείς.
The Golden Bowl Health Club means fitness for you. While you take the weight off your mind, we take the weight off your body, with our staff constantly supervising your training schedule. Enjoy the professional approach in the Golden Bowl air-conditioned gymnasiums, complete in every way, with dual facilities for both men and women members of the health club, the largest and most modern in Australia. Relax in a Swedish sauna or a Turkish steam bath. Swim in the heated pool. Take part in a host of other healthy sports, squash, trampolining, 10-pin bowling, or join in the jazz ballet classes. And later on, relax in the friendly and congenial atmosphere of the restaurant or the licensed club room. The Golden Bowl Health Club is open from 9 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. 7 days a week. Phone 823238 now. Take advantage of our special free introductory visit and try the new invigorating hydromassage jet baths at the Golden Bowl Health Club, 293 Camberwell Road, Camberwell.
Fairhaven. Amid the beautiful tree-lined streets of a quiet established suburb of Fairfield, you'll find these one-bedroom strata-title own-your-own units. For as little as $17,950, we will put you in easy reach of the city, close to a railway station, nearby shopping centres, parks and gardens, and a post office right at your door. All the comforts of home, but for lots less. Fairhaven. Inspect 2 to 4 p.m. Saturday or Sunday. Or contact NSICI right now on 509-7755.
Into the spice rack again. What's it this time?
Rosemary leaves. Know the flavour?
All good cooks do.
Perfect for roast lamb. I just rub the lamb with salt and pepper and sprinkle it with rosemary. Simple. But what it does to the flavour.
Looks marvellous.
Tastes marvellous. Easy. With Master Foods herbs and spices.
Get your herb and spice rack and bonus recipe book now. Details in your store. Master Foods herbs and spices. The sign of a good cook.
Well, at the moment, everyone's been waiting for the running of the 1980 Warrnambool Grand Annual Steeplechase, and it's over to Clem Dempsey.
Thank you very much, Craig. The feature race coming up, of course, as you mentioned, the Grand Annual Steeplechase, and it's over 5,500 metres and 33 fences. Certainly a formidable task, and I'm joined in the commentary box by Peter Lovett. It's certainly a great spectacle, Peter, and it's a real marathon.
Well, I would say, Clem, that it's probably a better spectacle than even our Grand National at Flemington. Mainly because of the, the road terrain. The jumps are not that hard to negotiate. If you have a look at them, they're much lower. They have natural takeoffs, which are different to ours at Flemington in the city. But horses seem to appreciate it. This is one of the smallest.
We'll bring him fast relief.
Grand Annual. I've seen this race for many years. And if any enthusiast of a jumping race ever wants to have a look at a jumping race, it's not going to end up like the Grand National in Aintree.
The Aintree Grand National.
You won't see horses tumbling over like that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
I
think
that's not the exercise, is it?
No, and I think these jumps give every horse a chance in the race. If
I
you're
tell you,
asking
they look formidable enough to me. I had a look at Thackeray, then having a pop over, having a look at that fence, and by gee whiz, it goes right up to his chest.
Yeah, but I do think if you have a close look at them Clem, you'll find that they're very lightly brushed.
I think it's a good
Horses
idea.
can go. Well, it's still a great spectacle. When they get round the back of the track, over the Tozer Road double, down the side, then they come back the other way. If you remember, Tom McGinley mistook the winning post one day.
Well, you can't now because the winning post is the same one as they use for all tracks.
Yep.
Here's the map of the track. You'll see them race up the 3 in the lane. Then they come over the Alfred Road double that takes them into Briley's paddock, and they've got 3 up Briley's. They jump the 2 on the top of the hill, the Cox's Road double, come down to 1 in Granters. Then the Tozer Road, they swing left, it takes them to the Man Trap, and they eventually wheel around into the straight, over the treble in the straight again, back to the Alfred Road double, up the hill into Briley's, over the Cox's Road double, down over the Tozer Hill double, then a right-hand turn at Tozer's that takes them to the last 4, and the last of 33 fences in the straight, about, I suppose, 200 metres from the finishing post. So that's the terrain.
Well, now, Clem,
and how long will it take to run?
Well, Clem, you take a deep breath.
I'll take a few.
You've got to broadcast for at least, well, the record is held by so-and-so who fell in the Grand National at Aintree, 6:41.8.
I'd say we're heading for nearer 7 minutes today.
I would say so. Have you had a...
I'll give you a call if I get if I need you halfway through the race, Peter.
All right. I think Lord Rocky Red will win. He won the Oakbank with 63.5 kilos. He followed that up with a very game performance at Sandown.
Tremendous run.
Blue Lightning, and I think he'll win. But of course, last year's winner, Thackeray.
He keeps going, just keeps boring on Thackeray.
I would say halfway through the race, you'll find that he'll be about 25 lengths behind the leader.
Look at the crowd. All vantage points taken up. You can see the cars on Scotsman's Hill lining Briley's paddock as well. And they're getting a free look at the Grand Annual. Now, in goes in the all-blue Tudor Supreme. There's Scenic Storm. Neville Rantel, he's one rider that does know his way around here.
Well, he's had 22, Johnny Williams has had the record, 22 rides in the Grand Annual. We were talking to him earlier. He's
must be an exhilarating feeling.
That's what he said, but Neville Rantel is probably the jockey who knows most about the start.
Now, moving in, a couple to come forward. Thackeray to go in, goes up now, and Dane's Mission coming forward, waiting on Cole Gotti and Lord Rocky Red to come in. Barriers of very little significance here in the Grand Annual. Lord Rocky Red goes in. Now Cole Gotti is the last one to come in for the Grand Annual, ready to go, about 7 minutes duration or slightly less. Cole Gotti comes in, 33 fences, ready. Good line. Racing in the Grand Annual, away to a perfect start. Cole Gotti jumped out quickly. Jumping well quickly was Dane's Mission, who's trying to get across nearer the inside. Scenic Storm was well away. They're followed by Tornado's Ladders. They come down the straight the first time to the first of 33, and they've got 3 in the lane. Where the leader as they drive towards it is Dane's Mission. Second is Cole Gotti. Here's the first coming up. Dane's Mission in front of Cole Gotti. Scenic Storm, they're all over the first. Tornado's Lad fourth. They're followed by Tudor Supreme. Lord Rocky Red over the second. Getting back over on the inside is Marquita's Pell, and last year's winner, last of all, is Thackeray. Over the third of the treble now. They've all negotiated that very well now, and they whip around to the right. And getting right through on the inside was Marquita's Pell. Scenic Storm's going up towards that leading pack too, and I think that Rantel's going to show them the way towards the Alfred Road double. Heading towards the Alfred Road, they'll jump it in the centre and then cut across. Where the leader now is Dane Special, one of the leaders, and going forward Marquita's Pell. Still there too is Scenic Storm. Here's the first of the Alfred Road double coming up now. And Scenic Storm cut it up beautifully, Scenic Storm, and landed in front. That's experience for you by Rantel. In second place, Marquita's Pell getting through on the inside from Tornado's Ladder. Out very deep on the track then is the Tudor Supreme. They're followed by Lord Rocky Red back on the inside. Next is Dane's Mission. They're followed well back by Thackeray and Cole Gotti. Now they're into Briley's and they come down towards the second. They've got to jump 3 in Briley's. And striding along in front as they come towards the next is Scenic Storm, and he landed about 2 lengths clear. Marquita's Pell was second, and neck away third. Tornado's Lad the outside. Tudor Supreme running fourth, then Lord Rocky Red. Cole Gotti racing out deeper on the track. They're followed by Dane's Mission, and last of all is Thackeray. Now they're really starting to climb as they draw to the next, and Scenic Storm landed about a length clear of Cole Gotti, who's made a burst from last to go up and join this leader. Marquita's Pel's running third, and Tornado's Lad on the outside from Tudor's Special. They're followed then back on the outside by Dane's Mission, Lord Rocky Red, and last of all is Thackeray. Over the Cox's Hill, over the first, they come to the second, and Cole Gotti in front now. Scenic Storm is second. They're followed by Tornado's Lad and then Marquita's Pel. 3 lengths behind them next as they come down the hill is Lord Rocky Red. They're followed then by Tudor Supreme. Dane's Mission is well back second last, and Thackeray is last. This is important now. They dive to the left here as they come to the first of the Tozer Road double. Scenic Storm showing them away. Beautiful ride by Rantelli. Got away by 2 lengths. Cole Gotti went a shade wide in second place, and then Tornado's Lad. Lord Rocky Red's now moving up to be third, followed by Marquita's Pel, and they're getting away from Thackeray. Then the Tudor Supreme, and last of all is Dane's Mission. About to come to the man trap now, and it's Scenic Storm in front. Skipped over that by 2 lengths, Cole Gotti. Lord Rocky Red and Tornado's Lad and Marquita's Pel in a pack together. They've got away about 10 lengths to Thackeray, starting to wind up. Then Tudor Supreme second last, and last of all is Dane's Mission. Coming back to where they started now, they come to the next. Scenic Storm landed about a length and a half clear, cuts over again. Cole Gotti was second, they're followed by Marquita's Pel. Tornado's Lad running a good race. Lord Rocky Red handy, picking up ground is Thackeray about 4 lengths away. They're followed well back in the field then by Tudor Supreme, and last of all is Dean's Mission. Here they come to the next now. Up and over this one that will lead them into the straight, and Scenic Storm in front of Cole Gotti. Marquita's Pel's in third place as they come towards the straight again. They've got the treble coming up. 18 left to jump, 2 road doubles, and the Cox's Hill coming up. Scenic Storm's in front. Going up second is Tornado's Lad, and then Cole Gotti, Marquita's Pel. Lord Rocky Red behind them, and then Thackeray. They're followed back second last by Tudor Supreme, and last of all is Dane's Mission. Here's the first of the 3. Call for a cab, the leader, Scenic Storm, but it's still led. Marquita's Pel poking up on the inside from Tornado's Lad, and then Cole Gotti out wider. They've got away by 10 lengths. Lord Rocky Red and Thackeray, the 2 popular fancies racing together. Back behind them, that one that hit that pretty hard was Tudor Supreme, and last of all is Dean's Mission. As they head into the back now, for the last time they come towards the Alfred Road double, and striding along is Scenic Storm. He's been the pilot throughout, shows the way by 2 lengths. Marquita's Pel was second, Tornado's Lad running third, and then Cole Gotti. Thackeray making good ground. Here's the first of the Alfred Road double coming up. Scenic Storm about to cut across perfectly too. Over the second, he lands about 2 lengths clear now of Tornado's Lad. Jumping very badly back in the field, then losing a lot of ground was Dane's Mission. Now they're in Briley's paddock now. They've got 3 to jump up here. Scenic Storm in front by 2 lengths, Tornado's Lad, and then Cole Gotti. Thackeray picking up ground with Lord Rocky Red, and then Marquita's Pel, and a long gap to Tudor Supreme, and Dane's Mission dropped out along last. Here's the second now, and Briley coming up. Scenic Storm a length and a half clear of Cole Gotti and Tornado's Lad. Thackeray running a big race and getting a nice run behind Scenic Storm. Lord Rocky Red in the centre, 4 lengths, Marquita's Pel. They're followed then by Tudor Supreme, and well back was Dane's Mission. Now they're really starting to climb as they come to the next. Scenic Storm got away by a length and a half, Cole Gotti. Tornado's Lad was third. Now they're going up the hill in the Cox's Hill. Back behind them, Lord Rocky Red with Thackeray, and a fair gap to Tudor Supreme, making a bit of ground on the outside. Well back was Marquita's Pel. Here's the first of the double, over the Cox's Hill double now. And Cole Gotti moved up on the outside to grab the lead. In second place, Scenic Storm into Granders. Here they come now, there's 3 in line. Over at Scenic Storm, landed in front of Cole Gotti and Tornado's Lad. They've got a left-hander turn now. Cole Gotti's in all sorts of bother. He's gone very wide. Here's the first now of the Tozer Road double coming up. Scenic Storm in front. Cuts it beautifully by Rantel. Thackeray getting through on the inside from Tornado's Lad. Cole Gotti lost ground at that, and they're followed by Lord Rocky Red and a long gap to Marquita's Pel. 1,000 metres left to go, 4 to jump, and the leader is Scenic Storm. It showed the way by a length. Second is Tornado's Lad, 3 lengths away, Thackeray. Over the 4th last, and then Lord Rocky Red. They're followed by Cole Gotti and a long gap in the field to Tudor Supreme. 800 metres left to go, and it's still Scenic Storm in front. Comes to the next, lands 2 lengths clear of Tornado's Lad. Thackeray running on, they're closing on this leader now. Then Lord Rocky Red, followed by Cole Gotti, with about 600 metres left to go now, and it's Scenic Storm and the Grand Annual in front by a neck. Thackeray second as they come down towards the second last. He got away against Scenic Storm by over a length. Thackeray now applying pressure, going up quickly, followed by Tornadoes Lad, and then Lord Rocky Red. Wonder Jump coming to the turn in the Grand Annual, and there's Thackeray charged up on the outside to grab the lead. Scenic Storm is fighting back. He cuts across on Thackeray. Scenic Storm second, followed by Tornadoes Lad, and Lord Rocky Red starting his charge now. Down to the last at the 200-metre mark. Thackeray in front. He won the race last year. Comes to it now, lands just in front. Scenic Storm second. They're followed by Tornadoes Lad and Lord Rocky Red getting through on the inside. Thackeray under pressure, holding them at bay. Tornadoes Lad trying hard, but the Grand Annual to Thackeray. And Thackeray wins in consecutive years. Comes down to win by a length and a half, Tornadoes Lad. Lord Rocky Red was third. A very game run by Scenic Storm to run fourth. Then a gap in the field to Tudor Supreme, a long gap to Cole Gotti, Marquitas Pell, and Dane's Mission is last, and they've all completed the course in the Grand Annual of 1980. Oh, number 3, Thackeray, ridden by David Londrigan, and it was a perfect ride. Number 3, Thackeray by Hapful, out of Salemba, trained by Mrs. I'll take a deep breath. Mrs. Handyside, and ridden by Butch Londrigan. Waiting for the numbers to go in the frame. Number 3 is there. What a tremendous race. Had about a length and a half to spare at the finish, and a slogging finish. And the pleasing feature, there wasn't one to come down. There's Thackeray now. Scenic Storm had run an enormous race, and a tremendous ride by Neville Rantel, who cut every corner.
Yes, well, as I said before the race, Clem, Neville Rantel knows just as much about this territory as John Williams did, and he really wasn't entitled to run fourth on form.
No.
But you can't take anything away from the winner. He's won the Grand Annual now 2 years in a row.
Did you notice David Londrigan tracked?
He tracked him
Neville
everywhere.
Rantel, wherever he went, he wasn't, when he caught onto them with a lap to go.
And what surprised me most was that he was up much closer than a length and a half. A neck
between second and third. Now the time.
Yeah, this will be interesting.
6:53.5.
Well, you did well, Clem.
Thank you, Peter. It's a real marathon, isn't it?
Isn't it? And I do think that it's a wonderful advertisement for steeplechasing, particularly as our winter season is going to approach, in the next 2 months in the city. And we'll be doing a live telecast of the Grand National and the Grand National Steeple from Flemington. Interesting also, Clem, to notice that Thackeray's had 24 starts and he's only won 3 races.
He won the Ansett Steeple, the Grand Annual last year, and the Grand Annual this year.
Yeah, well, he's been fruit out of season in between.
And there's Mrs. Handyside, and she's absolutely delighted.
And there's Chris Ford in the left of the screen. Chris assists the stewards. A few pressmen there too. I see Glenn Lester from the Age. They give this race tremendous coverage, don't they?
Well, it's deserving. It's probably one of the most exciting racing carnivals it is in the state. Well, there's Butch there. Won the race. Had a fall on Tuesday in the hurdle too, and had to. He's been at the sauna bath trying to get rid of the bruises since then, and you can see him take a long, deep breath. He's pretty weary.
Well, I think he's got a bit of golden ointment out of that somewhere.
I would think so.
It'll take the pain out of it, Clem.
But as you mentioned, it was a great advertisement. There were no incidents in the race. I thought Cole Gotti got a bit lost coming down towards the Tozer Road double the last time. He got out pretty wide, and I thought for a stride or two he might even miss the first of the Tozer, but he straightened up.
I agree with you, though. Butch set out right from the outset to track Neville Rantel, and that's probably what won him the race. But I just can't understand why Thackeray got so far behind at his previous 2 starts, or 2 wins, I must say. You know, he was 20 lengths outside the leader, and
this was last year.
Yes,
last year.
Today, he was when they came here past the second time, he was within shooting range of Lord Rocky Red.
I'll check the dividends. Thackeray 135 and 55. Second, Tornadoes Lad, 80 cents. Third, number 1, Lord Rocky Red, paid 80 cents as well. 135, 55, 80 and 80. The Quinella paid $3 even. Trifecta, 3, 4 and 1, $19.20. The running double, 7 and 3, paid $9. The tote dividends on race 5. reverting back to Thackeray, in the Ansett steeple at Hamilton, Peter, he didn't get that far back. As far
Oh, yes, he did, Clem.
No, were you there?
No, but
I was there.
I listened to your call.
No, he was never... He got a fair way back, but again, with 1 lap to go, he started to tack on into the back straight, and I got a shock to see him about 10 or 12 lengths off the lead going up the...
Well, Russell had that race won, didn't he not?
Well, he got about 4 or 5 lengths on Thackeray coming to the bend, but...
Yeah, but halfway through the race, he was 20 lengths behind, but... Well, obviously he likes the sting end of the ground, and I must compliment the Warrnambool Racing Club on their new facilities here. They're absolutely magnificent, and I only hope that they go on from one thing to another.
I agree.
Better and better.
Comments from Peter Lovett after the running of the Grand Annual. Thackeray first, Tornades Lad second, Lord Rocky Red third, and it's back to Craig.
Well done, Clem. Well, we'll have the presentation and interviews after this break.
You're watching a direct coverage of racing from Warrnambool through Channel 10 Melbourne, Channel 6 Ballarat and associated stations across Victoria.
This town, my town, uptown, downtown, love every sight, every sound that's around in my town.
Melbourne, some town, thriving, growing, beautiful, bustling. Your town. Since 1864, this town has been the home of one of the world's great beers, Carlton Draft, a big, satisfying, friendly beer, skillfully brewed with patience and care from summer's gold barley and sun-ripened hops. A beer to look forward to, a beer to reward you. Your beer, Carlton Draft.
This town, my town, uptown, downtown, love every sight, every sound that's around in my town.
It's got to be an easier way to make a living. You're getting too old for it, mate. You need an Ansett Top 40 holiday. Australia's best value holiday package. These look great. I got to fly. Ansett Top 40 holidays. Top value because...
Get your Ansett Top 40 holiday brochures and your special Chartbusters brochure now.
You didn't even move your lips.
Thank you very much. It's worth a working bee for the kids, so it's worth Dulux Weather Shield. Covers wood or brick, and Weather Shield's acrylic grips better than the others. I reckon it's the toughest, longest-lasting exterior paint you can buy. Dulux Weather Shield, it's a ripper gripper. How's that for toughness? And this'll last until he opens for Australia. Weather Shield, gloss or flat, it's a ripper gripper. Oh, so's he. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
Well, we have some fairly excited people down here in the mounting yard following the running of the steeplechase, Phil.
Yes, we certainly have, Craig, and we have Thackeray parading in the mounting yard here with a big crowd around the mounting yard, just waiting for the presentations to take place. But what an exciting race, and we didn't have a fall. We had some close near misses there.
There was a couple of near misses. In fact, Lord Rocky Red going up through the paddocks there the first time, he was inclined to nearly go, but he didn't. And apart from that, there were Cole Gotti got hold of one the second time around, but just the same, they finished the course. It was an exciting race. I don't think I've witnessed a more exciting race than that, and I'm sure that people who are pro-jumping well, it certainly did their hearts good. It certainly did mine good anyway, and I enjoyed the race immensely.
We're just waiting on the jockey to come out for the presentation, but what was your opinion of the race, Graham Kelly?
Backing up what Des said, Phil, that Bob Chalice said when he did jump badly in Briley Paddock the first time around, he lost both irons and went over the next fence without them. So he hasn't done a bad job, but he did say he wouldn't use that as an excuse for Lord Rocky Red. But I thought it was a great spectacle, and it will, when you see races like that, you realise it would be a tragedy if the jumping game declined into obscurity.
Ron Taylor, the racing editor of Truth.
Well, that was my first look at a Grand Annual Steeplechase, Philip, and I was highly delighted, and it won't be my last for sure, because that was one of the most thrilling and exciting races that I'd ever seen. It's an endurance test. This is the thing that strikes me about Warrnambool, that a horse has to be a great stayer. It wouldn't surprise me at all if a horse that won this Warrnambool Great Annual Steeplechase one day will win a Daintree Grand National in England. It was a game effort by Thackeray, who is undoubtedly the best stayer in the race.
All right, well, we're ready now for the presentation of the trophies for the Warrnambool Grand Annual, so we'll take you over to the chairman of the Warrnambool Racing Club, Mr. Russell Balch.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a marvellous race, won by a wonderful horse, trained to an absolute peak of perfection and beautifully ridden. I'm certain that even opponents of jumping races could have nothing but praise for a race like that. Now, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Philip Brass, the Managing Director of Dunlop Clothing and Textiles, who've part-sponsored this race and presented the trophies. Mr. Brass.
Thank you very much. Our company is very proud to be associated with the running of this race, and I'd like to congratulate all the connections associated with it and present this tea service to the owner. Right, Mrs. Knox and Mr. Barr Smith.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, Committee of the Warrnambool Racing Club, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited. It's a great thrill for Thackeray to win this race again for 2 years running. I think he's now become one of the greatest. I don't think anybody's won it 3 times, but there's several horses have won it twice. So it's a terrific thrill. And I'd like to thank Butch Londrigan for his wonderful ride, and also Rhoda Handyside, who trains the horse for her father and I, who has done a magnificent job to produce this horse again this year. Thank you very much.
I'd like to ask Mr. Don Jenkins, the General Manager of the Warrnambool Woolen Mill, to present the trophy to Butch Londrigan, the jockey. I don't think the trainers had to prepare another horse, Rhoda Handyside, and she was sending her husband back, but as far as I know, he hasn't arrived. So perhaps the jockey first. Don.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, once again I'd like to congratulate the Warrnambool Racing Club on the spectacle that they have organised in the Warrnambool Woolen Mill Grand Annual Steeplechase. It's becoming a little bit of a habit for this jockey to collect a trophy from the company, but I do congratulate Butch Londrigan, ask him to come forward and receive the trophy.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank the Warrnambool Woolen Mills for sponsoring this race for us, and of course the Warrnambool Racing Club, and also the connections of the horse. Thanks.
And Mr. Handyside, who I believe is deputising for his wife. I'd like to congratulate Mrs. Handyside on the excellent way that she has prepared the horse. Must be a great thrill for the owners to have a horse prepared in such a manner, and full credit must go to the trainer to prepare a horse for such a gruelling race.
Thank you very much. I'm Armitage, actually. The Handysides are now saddling Danish, who's going to saddle up in the next race. However, it gives me great pleasure to accept this wonderful trophy on behalf of the trainer, and on behalf of her I would like to thank the owners for the opportunity of being able to train such a good, honest chaser, and I'd like to thank Butch Londrigan very much for his very cool, clever ride. Thank you.
Right, well, that concludes the presentations for the Grand Annual Steeplechase, and we have Butch Londrigan coming over here now to talk with Ron Taylor. I just have where'd you get the name Butch?
That's a long story.
I'll tell you what, you haven't been too close to a Gillette today, anyway. Anyway, I'll leave you with Ron to have a talk about that wonderful ride of yours.
No worries.
Thank you, David, or Butch, as you're most popularly called.
Yeah.
It was a thrilling ride on your behalf because you obviously planned to make every use of your knowledge of this track.
Yeah, well, in a long race like this, I reckon every inch counts, and it did today.
And you planned to ride fairly close to the lead, I think a lot closer than you were in your recent race at Hamilton.
Yeah, well, there was no pacemaker today. If Russell would have led well, it would have been a different race altogether, but early in the race I was pulling up on their heels, and it worked out nice. No pace at all on for me.
Now, David, you've ridden a lot of races at Flemington and in Melbourne. You've won countless jumping races. What sort of a jumper is Thackeray looking towards the Grand National Steeplechase in July?
Well, he's one of them sort of steeplechasers. He takes a lot of learning, you know, but once he learns, he never forgets.
Now, he didn't begin racing until he was 4-year-old, so apparently he's a horse that's been trained to jump and only for jumping.
Yeah, well, he's a slow horse. He hasn't got any ability at all on the flat, but just a freak jumper and an out-and-out stayer.
Now, in the running, I noticed that at times the lead changed several times. Were you ever worried that Cole Gotti might get away from you?
No, the only horse really I was worried, especially after jumping the last road double, was Tornado's Lad. He seemed to be plugging on there, but I had a fair bit in hand.
Anyway, you pulled up very fresh after the 5,000 metres race. You must be very fit, Butch.
Yeah, well, a bit of work helps.
Thanks a lot, and congratulations, David Londrigan, on winning the Grand Annual at Warrnambool on Thackeray.
Yeah, where do you live, Butch?
Ballarat.
Well, I'll get Peter Buckley of Gillette to get in touch with you.
Good man. Thanks a lot.
Good on you. Butch Londrigan talking with us there. And I think we're going to have a replay of this race, aren't we, Craig?
We're going to a replay shortly, but first of all, a commercial break.
You're watching a direct coverage of racing from Warrnambool through Channel 10 Melbourne, Channel 6 Ballarat and associated stations across Victoria.
You know, these bits and pieces haven't been painted since the Crows' last premiership in 1901. So it's really worth doing. These are the Crows' colours. Bright, aren't they? So's this Dulac Super Enamel. Oh, and it's even tougher than they are. This ought to last till the Crows' next premiership. Dulac Super Enamel. Tough as nails, bright as day. Hey! Oh, come on, the Crows. Worth doing, worth Dulac's.
In Victoria, we're a little luckier than most other people. We have something they don't. We have enough natural gas on hand in Bass Strait to last us well into the next century, possibly way beyond that. It stands to reason that if we use that gas for the things it's best at, like warming our homes efficiently and economically, and use our other sources of energy for the things they're best at, we'll conserve all of them longer. So, in the long run, we'll all be better off. Natural gas is being put to good use in more and more homes each day. And happily, it not only requires less energy to produce than other fuels, it requires less money. Let's make the most of all our resources. Let's choose the right fuel for the right job, because that way, we don't waste a thing.
Well, we trust you enjoyed the race, the Grand Annual Steeplechase. Phil, what did you think of the run? What did you...
Well, it was a great spectacle and one of the top races that we've seen for a long time down here, Craig. As we said, we've covered a few of them on television, but I thought it might be an idea for us to have a look at the replay of the Warrnambool Grand Annual. It's worth seeing, and of course, without any mishaps, it makes it even more enjoyable.
Racing in the Grand Annual away to a perfect start. Cole Gotti jumped out quickly. Jumping well quickly was Dane's Mission, who's trying to get across nearer the inside. Scenic Storm was well away. They're followed by Tornado's Ladders. They come down the straight the first time to the first of 33, and they've got 3 in the lane. With the leader as they drive towards it is Dane's Mission. Second is Cole Gotti. Here's the first coming up. Dane's Mission in front of Cole Gotti. Scenic Storm, they're all over the first. Tornado's Lad fourth. They're followed by Tudor Supreme. Lord Rocky Red over the second. Getting back over on the inside is Marquita's Pell, and last year's winner, last of all, is Thackeray. Over the third of the treble now. They've all negotiated that very well now, and they whip around to the right. And getting right through on the inside was Marquita's Pell. Scenic Storm's going towards that leading pack too, and I think that Rantel's going to show them the way towards the Alfred Road double. Heading towards the Alfred Road, they'll jump it in the centre and then cut across. Where the leader now is Dane Special, one of the leaders, and going forward Marquita's Pell. Still there too is Scenic Storm. Here's the first of the Alfred Road double coming up now. And Scenic Storm cut it up beautifully, Scenic Storm, and landed in front. That's experience for you by Rantel. In second place, Marquita's Pell getting through on the inside from Tornado's Ladder. Out very deep on the track then is the Tudor Supreme. They're followed by Lord Rocky Red back on the inside. Next is Dane's Mission. They're followed well back by Thackeray and Cole Gotti. Now they're into Briley's and they come down towards the second. They've got to jump 3 in Briley's. And striding along in front as they come towards the next is Scenic Storm, and he landed about 2 lengths clear. Marquita's Pell was second, and Neckaway third. Tornado's Lad the outside. Tudor Supreme running fourth, then Lord Rocky Red. Cole Gotti racing out deeper on the track. They're followed by Dane's Mission, and last of all is Thackeray. Now they're really starting to climb as they draw to the next, and Scenic Storm landed about a length clear of Cole Gotti, who's made a burst from last to go up and join this leader. Marquita's Pell's running third, and Tornado's Lad on the outside from Tudor's Special. They're followed then back on the outside by Dane's Mission, Lord Rocky Red, and last of all is Thackeray. Over the Cox's Hill, over the first, they come to the second, and Cole Gotti in front now. Scenic Storm is second. They're followed by Tornado's Lad and then Marquita's Pell. 3 lengths behind them next as they come down the hill is Lord Rocky Red. They're followed then by Tudor Supreme. Dane's Mission is well back second last, and Thackeray is last. This is important now. They dive to the left here as they come to the first of the Tozer Road double. Scenic Storm showing them away. Beautiful ride by Rantel. He got away by 2 lengths. Cole Gotti went a shade wide in second place, and then Tornado's Lad. Lord Rocky Red's now moving up to be third, followed by Marquita's Pell, and they're getting away from Thackeray. Then the Tudor Supreme, and last of all is Dane's Mission. About to come to the man trap now, and it's Scenic Storm in front. Skipped over that by 2 lengths, Cole Gotti. Lord Rocky Red and Tornado's Lad and Marquita's Pell in a pack together. They've got away about 10 lengths to Thackeray, starting to wind up. Then Tudor Supreme second last, and last of all is Dane's Mission. Coming back to where they started now, they come to the next. Scenic Storm landed about a length and a half clear, cuts over again. Cole Gotti was second, they're followed by Marquita's Pell. Tornado's Lad running a good race. Lord Rocky Red handy, picking up ground is Thackeray about 4 lengths away. They're followed well back in the field then by Tudor Supreme, and last of all is Dean's Mission. Here they come to the next now. Up and over this one that will lead them into the straight, and Scenic Storm in front of Cole Gotti. Marquita's Pell's in third place as they come towards the straight again. They've got the treble coming up. 18 left to jump, 2 road doubles, and the Cox's Hill coming up. Scenic Storm's in front. Going up second is Tornado's Lad, and then Cole Gotti, Marquita's Pell. Lord Rocky Red behind them, and then Thackeray. They're followed back second last by Tudor Supreme, and last of all is Dane's Mission. Here's the first of the 3. Call for a cab, the leader, Scenic Storm, but it's still led. Marquita's Pell poking up on the inside from Tornado's Lad, and then Cole Gotti out wider. They've got away by 10 lengths. Lord Rocky Red and Thackeray, the 2 popular fancies racing together. Back behind them, that one that hit that pretty hard was Tudor Supreme, and last of all is Dean's Mission. As they head into the back now, for the last time they come towards the Alfred Road double, and striding along is Scenic Storm. He's been the pilot throughout, shows the way by 2 lengths. Marquita's Pell was second, Tornado's Lad running third, and then Cole Gotti. Thackeray making good ground. Here's the first of the Alfred Road double coming up. Scenic Storm about to cut across perfectly too. Over the second, he lands about 2 lengths clear now of Tornado's Lad. Jumping very badly back in the field, then losing a lot of ground was Dane's Mission. Now they're in Briley's paddock now. They've got 3 to jump up here. Scenic Storm in front by 2 lengths, Tornado's Lad, and then Cole Gotti. Thackeray picking up ground with Lord Rocky Red, and then Marquita's Pell, and a long gap to Tudor Supreme, and Dane's Mission dropped out along last. Here's the second now in Briley coming up. Scenic Storm a length and a half clear of Cole Gotti and Tornado's Lad. Thackeray running a big race and getting a nice run behind Scenic Storm. Lord Rocky Red in the centre, 4 lengths Marquita's Pell. They're followed then by Tudor Supreme, and well back was Dane's Mission. Now they're really starting to climb as they come to the next. Scenic Storm got away by a length and a half. Cole Gotti. Tornado's Lad was third. Now they're going up the hill in the Cox's Hill. Back behind them, Lord Rocky Red with Thackeray, and a fair gap to Tudor Supreme, making a bit of ground on the outside. Well back was Marquita's Pell. Here's the first of the double, over the Cox's Hill double now. And Cole Gotti moved up on the outside to grab the lead. In second place, Scenic Storm into Granters. Here they come now, there's 3 in line. Over at Scenic Storm, landed in front of Cole Gotti and Tornado's Lad. They've got a left-hander turn now. Cole Gotti's in all sorts of bother. He's gone very wide. Here's the first now of the Tozer Road double coming up. Scenic Storm in front. Cuts it beautifully by Rantel. Thackeray getting through on the inside from Tornado's Lad. Cole Gotti lost ground at that. And they're followed by Lord Rocky Red and a long gap to Marquita's Pell. 1,000 metres left to go, 4 to jump. And the leader is Scenic Storm. It showed the way by a length. Second is Tornado's Lad, 3 lengths away, Thackeray. Over the 4th last, and then Lord Rocky Red. They're followed by Cole Gotti and a long gap in the field to Tudor Supreme. 800 metres left to go, and it's still Scenic Storm in front. Comes to the next, lands 2 lengths clear of Tornado's Lad. Thackeray running on, they're closing on this leader now. Then Lord Rocky Red, followed by Cole Gotti. With about 600 metres left to go now, and it's Scenic Storm and the Grand Annual in front by a neck. Thackeray second as they come down towards the second last. He got away against Scenic Storm by over a length. Thackeray now applying pressure, going up quickly, followed by Tornado's Lad, and then Lord Rocky Red. 1 to jump coming to the turn in the Grand Annual, and there's Thackeray charged up on the outside to grab the lead. Scenic Storm is fighting back. He cuts across on Thackeray. Scenic Storm second, followed by Tornado's Lad, and Lord Rocky Red starting his charge now. Down to the last at the 200 metre mark. Thackeray in front, he won the race last year. Comes to it now, lands just in front. Scenic Storm second. They're followed by Tornado's Lad and Lord Rocky Red getting through on the inside. Thackeray under pressure, holding them at bay. Tornado's Lad trying hard, but the Grand Annual to Thackeray. And Thackeray wins in consecutive years. Comes down to win by a length and a half, Tornado's Lad. Lord Rocky Red was third. A very game run by Scenic Storm to run fourth. Then a gap in the field too.
Well, there's a lot of talk in the Warrnambool Cup, Phil, of Pure Marker, licence fee and also Safraz.
Well, I think they'd be the 3 fancied ones, Craig, but we have Graham Kelly to tell us what the market is like.
Well, Safraz just a little bit over 2 to 1 on the tote odds, and just a fraction further out is McLuhan, and then just a point longer at each way odds. 4 to 1 is licence fee in the pre-post, and then the other 2 in serious contention are Pure Marker and Mahogany Lord.
Righto, well, let's have a look at the horses now as they move around in the mounting yard for the Warrnambool Cup. Number 1, Pure Marker.
Well, he's certainly the favourite for the Warrnamboolites, and no doubting, because he's a great hardy campaigner. He's 8-year-old, but he seems to have been around for years. He won 4 Hamilton Cups, and Johnny Letts has already won 2 Warrnambool Cups. It'll be a great day for Warrnambool. Pure Marker, Kevin Lafferty, Johnny Letts, if this horse can win. He's got the form on the board.